We are now rolling up on Antioch Baptist Church, wherein I think it's Pastor Barfield is the pastor. And that's the sign right there. We're just going to turn in this particular place right here.
Park right over here if you don't
Okay.
mind.
All right.
And, you might be jogging you around for a minute or two.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, let the windows up.
Antioch Baptist Church. Mr. Barfield, Pastor Barfield.
Antioch here, I'm a minister here. And Antioch was built, and you can see its architecture is old Western American, European, and a touch of Dutch. Okay, it was constructed by the Masonic Masons, and the cornerstone were laid there. And it's got a lot of old history. It was built in 1868, and it was formed, first formation was in a place called Troopville in 1858, and it was built by slave owners of plantations, and the owners of the slaves that came here to inherit this church from them in 1868 and on down, they was what they called the colored members. It was 24 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the roster with their name, but I did a presentation on the 143rd anniversary 2 weeks ago, and I kind of talked about that part of its history. And you know, it was part of the Renaissance and the Reformation period when blacks was thriving here in America. Before the Renaissance was wiped out. If these old walls could talk, and these old walls, and see this old building across the street here, look at its old roofing, and take a look at that chimney there, that second chimney now.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the top side of that chimney, how it's tapered. See, that's an old style chimney. That chimney was built way back. But you don't see chimneys built like that, you know, unless they were built way back in the 30s and the 40s, you know, that time. Okay? Now, if these old walls could talk, it would talk about when Ivory Johnson was dragged up and down Ashton Street. If these old walls in this old church could talk, it would tell the story how people felt when Mary Turner in 1918 became upside down, 8 months pregnant, and her belly was cut open and the fetus fell from her womb, and the man took his heel and killed the child. That's what was published in the New York Times, and her body was riddled with bullets. If these old walls could talk, it would tell the story of the killings of the Renaissance that led to these days of oppression, that people believe they should be the servants of other men, not have ownership in a metro city.
My beautiful brother.
Yes, sir.
You know, when you look up at all these signs and squares and keystones, they don't make them like this anymore, do they, Doc?
No, sir. No, sir. No, they don't.
The building in itself told a story. We see the 3 east gates, symbolism of the book of Revelation, and the circle above represent the covenant God made with Abraham. And above, of course, you see the tried stone, symbolic of Jesus being tried. And behind the veil, if you remember, there was an old saying that the rejected stone, one of the master builders picked it up, and he didn't know how to fit it into the temple, but yet there was a hole above the door. So nobody knew how to fit that hole above the door. That's what this tried stone symbolizes right there. Yeah, they call that the tried stone. Nobody could get it to fit over the door and fill the perfect gap to seal out the extra wind. I am told through my studies that after so many years, there was one came along by the name of Jesus, and he was the only one that was able to fit that stone into the building for the betterment of man. And of course, Jesus today is that stone.
Yes, sir.
And without him, you walk alone.
All right.
In your hand, my brother.
Well, we also got there the 12 tribes of Judah, the strong line of David, what you were saying. But getting back to this here, this is the part that this old building that it represented, it belonged to the congregation of the formation that was formed in 1866. And I think it was 63,000 delegates that was involved in the separation from the north and the south. And it showed where we had ownership in those days. And now in these days, we don't own nothing here in Loungetown.
Isn't that something?
Yes.
Let's walk over this cornerstone over here. See if we can get a view of that. To all who watch this, all we're doing is just going back, trying to get a little bit of history. We can't lose our history. Some of it, but not all of it. That's a fact. Without paying a great price.
That's right.
1868, 1921.
Right?
Wow. So that definitely was the time of the Mary Turner lynchings.
Right.
Also Rosewood.
Right.
All the fact, you know, Rosewood didn't even occur right there. That's 21.
That's 21.
That would be, what, 2 years later?
2 years later. That was the beginning of the ending of the Renaissance.
And this is the picture of the pastor of this great church. Let me see if I can get him here. That's Pastor Barfield. He is the now pastor of this church. And we just want this to be a part of history.
I would like to say this, so I don't have no misunderstanding with the church. This is not done in behalf of Antioch. This is done on a survey based upon on our community as the people and concerned citizens of our community. And Antioch was just one of the old buildings that we are using to utilize to show and to prove from the Renaissance period to this day that we need some money in our neighborhoods and communities.
As well as the general public right to know.
Amen.
We're going to close it out with this right here. First Antioch Missionary Baptist Church. And of course, Minister Robertson is a member of this particular church. Thank you for watching. George Boston Rhymes, kvci.blogspot.com, which means keeping Valdosta citizens informed. Thank you very much.